Welcome to the Sports Umbrella, where we cover all aspects of sports. Soak in all the knowledge from our guests who range from pro athletes playing up a storm to industry experts making it rain. My name's Kelly Okun, and I'm a former pro golfer and founder and CEO of Fairway to Green, an equitable sports media company. Joining us this episode, presented by GalwayPlus, is Kelenna Azubuike, a former NBA player and current color commentator for the Golden State Warriors. Kelenna shares how he transitioned from his playing career into sports broadcasting, how his faith helps him give back to his community, and of course, his wife Rona's Cornbread. Kelenna, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate where sports have brought you? I mean, it's been, what a journey it's been. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's been a blessing. I can't lie. Well, first of all, being here in Cabo is great. Sports have brought me here. But the broadcasting, getting to play in the NBA for as long as I did was a blessing. You never take that for granted. Any amount of time in the NBA, you can't take that for granted. And then the color commentating for the Warriors has been a joy. It doesn't feel like work. I always tell people that ask about it, how is it working with Bob Fitzgerald? Has been great. It just doesn't feel like work. It feels like something I enjoy. There's almost good challenges with it when it comes to making sure you're prepared and you know all the players and the tendencies and everything you want to know before going into games. And then it's just like I used to do before I was on camera, which was watch games with my brothers or friends. We would talk the same way. We would break down stuff. I've always enjoyed breaking down film, trying to figure out why things are happening. And it's kind of the way I watched film when I was a player as well. Just trying to figure out, okay, how can I take advantage of this defense? What are they doing to me? How are they defending? Where are the holes? Where are the gaps? Where are the strengths in my game that I can use against them? In what ways? And it's kind of the same thing when it comes to just the broadcasting piece, just trying to figure out what teams' tendencies are, what style of play is the best for them to bring out the strengths in all these players, their personnel, what's the best way for them to go about it. So it's just fun. And then we just crack jokes and have a good time on the broadcast, which has been fun. But yeah, the basketball life has been a good one for me. I would have loved to play in the NBA longer. I tore my patella tendon. We can get into that. That was a whole ordeal, a whole debacle there. So my playing career ended quicker than I wanted it to. But then just being able to pivot and go into broadcasting pretty soon after and having some success or just some longevity or some consistency with that has been really cool. So I can't take it for granted, for sure.
And broadcasting sounds like it was a natural fit just based on how you're analyzing from the playing side. Did you always know you wanted to go into that as your next chapter?
I would play and I would watch sports shows and sports talk shows and feel like I could probably do that. That's something I could maybe do. It seems like it would be fun to do. And obviously a lot of athletes and players, since they do interviews their whole lives, they're always like, well, it's probably easy to just transition over to just talking about sports. But being interviewed and then initiating a conversation, figuring out things, coming up with things to break down on your own, reacting to a play that happened, it is a little different. So I think that was one thing I probably knew going in and realized even more as I got into it. The more you get reps, the more you're able to do games and get comfortable being on camera. Because when I first started, I was doing pre and post game for the Warriors and then a bunch of other stuff, NBA Summer League. I was doing NBA G League games. I was doing WCC games, color. But when I first started doing pre and post game in the studio, I was talking so fast. I'd be like, I didn't even realize it when I was doing it in the moment. And then I would watch myself back and I was just like going crazy on camera at times. And it felt like, why am I talking so fast? I have so much to say. There's so much going on in my mind. And you want to get it in all in this, short segment. And so at times I just had to figure out, okay, I got to slow down, make it feel like in my own head that I'm talking really slow on camera, and that'll look more natural. So just little things like that you just kind of figure out along the way. But it's all so much fun because I'm really competitive with myself. And the way I got into broadcasting was we went to this 3-day boot camp thing that the NBA Players Association put on called Broadcaster U. and it was at Syracuse, which Syracuse is known for having a wonderful broadcasting program, and there's a lot of legends that have come from Syracuse, and they have a nice setup there. So I think the first year I went was the first year that they actually had the program, and it was me and 7 or 8 other former NBA players, and they just kind of put us through the gauntlet, but in a really cool way to where it's not like we're falling asleep, because I'm not narcoleptic, but I might be like borderline narcoleptic. So if you keep me in there for a 30-minute, 40-minute speech and it's not hands-on and it's not really interactive and it's kind of long and drawn out, I may start to lose some interest, maybe nod off a little bit. And I feel like maybe I've gotten good at looking like I'm not asleep when I really am. Like going through college, you kind of figure that, especially in the big auditoriums and you're up high, you figure out where to sit and everything. But that's besides the point. But I was able to go through that. So they did it to where it's like these 5 quick 5-minute discussions they would have where they just give you different tips about the broadcasting and what you should be looking to do, how to get comfortable on camera, some of your body language, how loud you are, how fast you are, all these different things. And then they just put you on camera, and then it's just back and forth. So it was almost like you're just getting better on the fly in a pretty short amount of time, in 3 days. And you're able to kind of watch yourself and go, okay, that didn't look right. That's not natural. I don't like the way I said that. It kind of came out wrong. I could put this a little different. I could be more succinct. I could be a little more drawn out here, expand here. So all those different things in those 3 days with Broadcaster U, and they let us do studio. They let us do simulated color commentating. They let us do radio. So you kind of saw yourself in all those different mediums or spaces or whatever you want to call them. And I just kind of fell in love with it, because that was at a time where I don't even know if I want to be involved with basketball anymore. I just tore my patella tendon, which there's the injury again. And my career ended before I wanted to. I was still kind of mad at the game or about that, and just I felt like I was still supposed to be playing, so I didn't want to watch basketball. But then after I went back to school, I actually went back and got my degree in 2015. Debbie Merman, who's with the Players Association at the time, she hit me up. She had said, hey, you had said something to me about maybe going into broadcasting a few years back. We're having this program. Do you want to come out? So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. And through that process, just kind of fell back in love with basketball, watching with the guys, watching with the former NBA players, going back and forth with them. It all kind of came rushing back, and then seeing the behind the scenes, because they let us look at the guts of it. You could see what's going on in the truck, the controls, the guys behind the scenes, what's going on behind the camera, the setup and all that stuff, the guys talking in your ear, and I just kind of fell in love with the whole process. So I was like, I could do this. So that's kind of when I jumped back into the basketball mindset and trying to figure out, okay, how do I start this broadcasting career? And that's kind of where it was for me. Then I called Jim Barnett, who was the color commentator at the time for the Warriors, and we were good friends because he called games when I was playing for the Warriors. And it's wild. The first thing he said to me, because we were good friends, he would come while I was in practice, getting shots up afterwards, and we'd have discussions, and he'd talk about the game and some of the stuff he's seeing, better ways to finish through contact and all these different things. He was always offering his opinion, and it was definitely welcome because he was had such a great mind for the game, and he had been doing the color commentating for a long time for the Warriors. I think he got over 30 years in. And so we had developed a good relationship. So he was the first person I called when I was trying to get into broadcasting. I was just like, hey, this is your domain. I'm thinking about starting a broadcasting career. Give me some advice. Give me some tips. What do you think? I don't even know where to begin. And the first thing he says to me was, you know what? I think you should take my job. Before he said anything else about tips or anything like that, he was like, I really think you should take my job. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know what I want to do yet. I don't know if I want to be doing studio, pre and post game, color commentating. I'm just trying to figure out where to start with this thing. He said, no, you speak well. You'd be really good at it. I feel like you should be color commentating for the Warriors. I feel like you'd be really good at this job. So I was just like, all right, whatever. And he kind of gave me some tips. We had a good long conversation, and that was it. And he got the ball rolling. He hit up Devin Fox, who was one of the boss producers at the time at NBC Sports Bay Area, which is the network that the Warriors work with. And I did pre and post game for 5-6 years. Then Rick Welts, who was the Warriors president at the time, he hit me up. He's like, hey, I want you to switch over to color and do color commentating during the games for the Warriors. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So it's just kind of been like wherever God has taken it, to just kind of leave it up to him and have fun with it, be prepared, be on time, be ready to go. And again, when I was doing pre and post, it didn't feel like work. Doing color commentating for the Warriors, even better. Being able to react in real time. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson for a while, not anymore. I think Klay Thompson's here. I got to say what's up to him. And Draymond Green and Jordan Poole for a little bit there. All these amazing players, being able to react to their brilliance in real time. It's fantastic.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
GalwayPlus is the proud sponsor of the Sports Umbrella. GalwayPlus Sports and Entertainment is the first of its kind platform in the wealth and risk management sectors designed to cater to the diverse needs of affluent individuals, teams, leagues, and organizations operating within the sports and entertainment industries. Learn more at GalwayPlus.com. I want to rewind a little bit to the injury, because an injury also took me out of my professional sport before I thought I was ready.
I want to hear about that, too.
Yeah, there's an identity crisis there, because your whole life you've been working towards that level. I didn't want to work in sports either at the beginning. I was like, it's too painful to watch. I don't know if I can do it. I know you said you had a mentor sort of walk you through it, but did you have a perspective change that made it okay for you to go back into it?
For me, the people around me really helped. My family was always wonderful when it comes to perspective, keeping a great attitude of gratitude no matter what happens, and my faith in Jesus Christ. You said it's an identity thing, right? Most athletes only look at themselves, or mostly look at themselves as athletes, or whatever sport they're in, basketball players, NFL players, whatever it is. And it's understandable. You spend your whole life working towards this thing, playing this game, and you finally get to the pinnacle, and everybody sees you as this athlete that has this huge platform and this huge voice, and it consumes your life. And it's hard to see yourself as anything else. But early on, my parents introduced me to Jesus, and I developed my relationship with him, got in the Bible as much as I could, just reading it for myself, trying to figure out the ways of God. What's the heart of God? How can I get closer to God? And that was huge for me in those moments, because I don't know what I would have done without my faith, and then my brothers, my family, when I tore my patella tendon, because that was probably the lowest moment for me. My dad was still alive at that time. He died soon after. That was pretty low too, but just sitting there on the ground, because when I tore my patella tendon, my kneecap ended up like up here on my quad. And seeing that, you see your career life flash before your eyes, and you're going, is this the last time I'm ever going to be able to play this game? Am I going to be the same when I got back? Which was the right thought, because I wasn't the same when I got back. I was never able to get back to 100%, not even close. And so during rehab and the botched first surgery, so the first surgery was botched because this doctor, he just sewed up my tendon and didn't add a cadaver or anything to stabilize it or to strengthen it while it's healing. So there's all this stress on my patella tendon while it's trying to heal, and no support. So as it was, while I'm rehabbing, doing all this stuff and trying to get the muscle strong around it, the patella tendon just kind of continually stretched back out. So my kneecap ended up back in my quad, to where if your kneecap is right here and this is your leg, when your leg bends, the kneecap should go with it, right? Mm-hmm. My kneecap would just stay up here and my leg would bend like that. And it was so painful. So I had to have surgery again. And this time, James Andrews, who's the surgeon that did the second one, he tied a wire around the top of my kneecap and drilled a hole in my femur, put the wire through there to pull my kneecap back down as far as he could. He couldn't get it down all the way, but he pulled it down, tied the wire around it, and drilled a hole in my femur, put the wire through there, and sewed it up. So that was the stability, the help for my patella tendon while it was healing the second time. And then while I'm rehabbing, that wire broke. and it was this loud crack sound while I'm rehabbing, and the whole, like, this rehab center, which was like from here to there, it's almost like as big as this room we're in. Everybody could hear it, and everybody was like, what just happened? Because this was like during my range of motion, knee bend movements and everything. And the therapist jumped and everybody went crazy. What's happening? Do we need to have emergency surgery? But it wasn't as bad as people thought it was, but it still was bad because that meant my kneecap was still too high up, so much so that it was pulling this wire that shouldn't have been able to break. This is I don't know, I don't think it's steel, but whatever almost like the material for a fence or something like that. It's not supposed to be able to break. Anyway, it broke. So that was a debacle. So I had to have emergency surgery right after that, get the wire taken out, tried to come back and play after that because the patella tendon had healed enough, but it still had kind of stretched out, obviously, if the wire broke. So then I actually got to a point where I could look good enough for a 30-minute workout for a team to come in there, look at me, go, hey, he might be back. He might be back. So the Mavericks, I'm working out in Denver at the time after this long rehab process, and the Mavericks come in. Rick Carlisle, I just saw, because I did ESPN radio for his Pacers Cavaliers game 3, I believe it was, in Indiana. Yeah, so I just saw him, and we were laughing and reminiscing. It was so good to see him. He's an amazing coach, and good luck to him in the finals, by the way. He's well-deserved Eastern Conference champions, a fun team to watch. But so he came to the Denver gym I was working out in and basically put me through a workout to see if I'm back, to see if they want to sign me. And I crushed this workout. So I took some pain pills, not hard pain pills, but like some over-the-counter pain pills, maybe a little more than over-the-counter, not like Toradol type stuff, but pain pills enough to get me through a workout where I was feeling good enough. Like my knees were they weren't hurting before that, but they were worse off before the pain pills. I took the pain pills in time enough before the workout to where I was feeling really good during the workout, and I'm flying around dunking. I hit 24 out of 25 threes. They put me through these sprints, and I'm doing all the sprints in like almost record time for them, and I'm running around. So Rick Carlisle and his guys were like, he's back. That's signed. They signed me the day after for 2 years, guaranteed, and that was a blessing. And I felt like I could get through a season maybe at least, and then have the summer to recover, and then get through another season, just play as long as I can. But that first year with the Mavs, it just started to deteriorate, and you could tell it couldn't handle the stress of an 82-game season and all that in training camp and all that comes with that, and the sprints and the hardcore, the back and forth. And the Mavs quickly saw that too and saw the writing on the wall. So they traded me to the Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers, it wasn't too long till they saw the writing on the wall too, as my knees just started getting worse and worse. And my right one was hurting too, because after I tore my left patella tendon, the doctors went in and looked at my right one, and they're like, oh, that's halfway torn too. Both of your knees suck. And so I had to get that one fixed as well. And I had numerous little procedures here and there, injections, all kinds of stuff to try to get my knees good enough to play in NBA games, because you got to have really solid bone structure, knee structure to run on hard court for a long NBA career. Hard court is a little stressful, and as it was, I learned this later. I was born with patella alta, which is unusually high kneecaps. My mom had that and gave that to me, and I'm not really sure there's too much you can do to prevent injuries like that happening. If you have patella alta, you could try to push your kneecap down, but once your kneecap is kind of set in a position, it's hard to get it to really move down and take that stress off of it. Anyway, so that was my injury history. So after the Cavs, I was pretty much done. Knew it wasn't going to work out. Tried another stint where I'm working out for the Spurs, and it started bothering me again. So it was over after that. And so after that, I was pretty upset. I knew I still had so much to give to the game if I had healthy knees, healthy legs, and my time playing, I knew it was at an end. So I was trying to figure out what to do. I'm watching all these guys knowing, man, I should have been there. My career was kind of on the rise. I think my last healthy year, I averaged like a little over 14 points, shooting over 40% from three-point range. I was improving every single year. I was kind of one of the guys they're saying that's going to keep going and keep getting better and better. So I had a really promising career ahead of me, and I couldn't go forward because of these annoying knees. So I was having a tough time getting over that. And again, my parents and my brothers are my accountability partners when it comes to praying, when it comes to just talking about life, trying to figure out, navigate through different circumstances, difficult circumstances. They're my sounding block. They're the guys I call, and I got really close friends that I can pray with too that are also my accountability partners. Those guys helped me stay positive and got me through that, as well as my parents and prayer and my faith again. And so that was that time. And eventually I was able to pick myself back up. I had some other stuff going on off the court, some real estate and everything. Got that to a place where it can kind of take care of itself. Then I went back to school because I had left early to play basketball. Went back to Kentucky, finished my degree. That was an interesting ordeal because I thought I was going to go back after 10 years and need like tutors and not know what's going on and really struggle with getting back into the swing of college, being 10 years removed. And actually, you figure out that you're kind of street smart when you go back. Life just kind of teaches you things along the way, and you're able to kind of problem solve a little easier than some of these kids that are just fresh out of high school and just young and haven't experienced things yet. So I went back and got all A's and made the dean's list and was helping other kids like in classes, and it was really fun actually. It was cool to see.
I'm sure they loved that too.
Yeah, it was cool, yeah. And so after that's when I went to broadcast for you, and the broadcasting thing was able to kick off. But yeah, it's like you said, it's the identity piece is really tough when you have something that you worked so hard for ripped away from you just like that. And that's what can happen with injuries with these athletes. And sometimes you can go into depression. Some of these athletes have done that. You can really struggle when it's taken away from you. Not even sometimes early. Some guys just retire and they struggle. Men and women can retire after a long career and do everything they want to do in their sport and retire and just kind of have an identity crisis and trying to figure out what they're going to do next. What is life going to be like without this thing that they've worked so hard for? But what was your experience like with that and injuries and everything?
Oh gosh. The injury that ultimately took me out was a concussion, which is surprising for golf, but I just had, it wasn't by a golf ball or a golf cart or anything like that. And no alcohol was involved. But it was just, it messed with my eye tracking movement. And so I got really nauseous trying to read greens or track the flight of the ball. And it took almost a year for me to recover from that.
What was a concussion from?
I had a bad one in college, also not related to golf or alcohol, but because I had one, I went on a roller coaster and it just shook too much. I guess my skull rattled my brain. Yeah.
So you had a concussion while on the roller coaster too, just after the other one?
I just got it from going on the roller coaster. Which is a really weird way to get out of a sport you've worked your whole life for.
What roller coasters? I never heard that.
I think they're finally shutting it down. It's at Universal. I heard that it's finally going away.
Have other people had issues with that roller coaster too?
I don't know. I tried bringing it up as a safety issue because they were like, oh, if you have back problems, don't go on here. If you're pregnant. But the signage never said if you have a concussion, because that never crossed my mind because it was years later.
Yeah. Can you see the Universal for something like that?
I didn't make enough money as a golfer to be able to have any sort of right to do that.
Interesting.
It was a weird process, but I tried just to more so for the awareness aspect, so other people like me wouldn't end up hurt. But
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know, but I had some kneecap issues too going into college, and I had a lateral release before that surgery got outdated. So I'm waiting to see if I need to do it on the other knee at some point too.
Was that like just wear and tear from like the rotation, swinging, and all that stuff?
Exactly. Yeah, I had torn my meniscus the day after I graduated high school, and I played on it for a year because I didn't want to lose out on playing in college.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, then when they did the surgery, they were like, oh, by the way, I need to do this too.
So all through when you were playing in college, you were feeling it, and it was just like a...
Oh, yeah. I don't know if Camilo Villegas, when he was on the PGA Tour, and he would lie on the green and look kind of like Spider-Man to read the greens. Yeah. That's what I looked like, because I couldn't bend my knee to squat down.
That's good. When I read the greens now, I don't even get like halfway down. I'm just, I look weird. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, but it worked out.
Oh, my
Now that I
goodness.
stopped playing, my body doesn't hurt as much. I don't know about you.
Yeah. Well, same. I mean, at times you feel, especially colder weather, my knees can struggle a little bit, but I've gotten kind of used to where it's at. Not painful, but just the level it's at where I can continue to do low impact stuff, especially in the gym, like elliptical, bike. I love Peloton. It's one thing I love to do. So yeah, just low impact stuff. But yeah, nothing
No high
crazy.
impact.
Yeah.
No more running. I don't
No.
No
I
high
mean,
jumps or
yeah.
box jumps or anything
'cause
like that.
When I got done, I was thinking about maybe trying to get back. I started trying to play pickup on hard court again, like regular basketball, and I was having to ice for like hours afterwards and game ready. You ever that game ready, the compression thing? I was using that all the time, and I was having to get injections. I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't going anywhere. I'm not going to end up back in the league being like looking like this and struggling after one pickup game. How am I going to play 82 games? So yeah, that's kind of when I hung it up. That's really interesting. I never heard about the
Yeah,
or someone struggling with a roller coaster when it comes to concussions and stuff like that. That's really interesting.
yeah, it's unique. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
So
we found our way back.
So after that happened, after you realized golf was done, what was the transition process like for you? Just trying to figure out what else you're going to do, starting this podcast, all that stuff.
Yeah, I fell back on my education, honestly. I'd worked in the golf industry as a marketing intern in high school and college and absolutely loved it. And I was a history major at school and then realized if I wanted a job, I should also study marketing.
There you go. Yeah.
And
I was
so-
marketing too, actually. Business marketing in college. Yeah.
It's a great place to go. I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of athletes go into the business
Yeah.
school, and it just all makes sense, honestly.
smart.
It's a lot of similar skill sets. And when I was playing, I knew I wasn't going to be Annika Sorenstam or anything like that. So I was doing freelance writing, building my resume already, doing marketing consulting for small businesses. And so I knew the transition would be interesting, but I wasn't looking at sports quite yet because I was still feeling a little weird about it.
Yeah, there's that bitterness right after
Yeah.
you're done. This, man, I should still be doing it. Just injuries. It's so dumb. But yeah, no, I hear you on that for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been my whole life to this point. I was like, I'm sure there's other stuff out there.
Right.
So I looked at some, but I eventually found a golf marketing agency based in DC, which is where I wanted to be. And I am so grateful I took that job because not only did I learn a lot on the marketing side, but because I was in golf and had been so in golf, I was able to just rise so much faster than I thought I could. And because I felt at that point I was 5 years behind my college friends. I hadn't been building a career at that point from that angle. But golf, just knowing it so well, was just a really great way to take advantage of climbing the ladder faster.
That's really cool. I think one advantage we have as athletes when we're playing, we know how to apply ourselves and work super hard for a goal to achieve something. And so whatever it is after our sport, when the sport is taken away, we can throw ourselves into something else the same way, work super hard, maybe harder than other people are used to working to get something, to get good at something else. And so that's one thing I found, like, I enjoy the work. I enjoy trying to do more than other people, be more prepared than everybody else, and all of that stuff. Just like I enjoyed it when I was playing, because that's what you're used to. You used to have, I had to go to the G League before I was able to play in the NBA. I had to grind from there, so I'm just kind of used to that grind, used to having that chip on my shoulder, used to getting to the high level, but looking for more, working harder to see if you can take the next step and never being satisfied. So I think that is something, if the athletes embrace whatever their next career is the same way, they do have that advantage of understanding what real work looks like. With athletes, with players, it's like working yourself to exhaustion just to achieve what you're trying to achieve, or get better, or work on your craft, or get more consistent, or whatever it is you're working on. And I don't think that's something that everybody's used to, the way athletes know how to do it, especially if you can make it to the top of your world, whatever sport it is you're playing. Like, you've had to work. There's not a lot of guys that just make it there on just talent. There's guys that are few and far between, those guys that are ultra talented, way more talented than everybody else, and they can kind of ride their talent maybe more than other people. But most guys have had to work crazy hard to get there. So I love that aspect of it.
I do too. Yeah, when I've talked to companies, everyone's athletes have grit. That's the difference. I mean, there's more differences, but it's like they have grit. They're not going to shy away from problems or challenges. They're going to power through and problem solve and figure it out. And I think that's why so many athletes become entrepreneurs as well.
Right? Seriously.
I know. They're already used to managing their own careers, playing careers like it's a business already.
Yeah, and there's this mental toughness that you get from going through what you've been through, dealing with all kinds of different personalities. And you think about being in an NBA locker room and all the different personalities that you have to figure out how to work with and how to use your strengths to make them better and vice versa. And that's something that is so valuable down the line, just realizing that you don't have to get flustered with everything that has potential to blow up. You don't have to let it. You can figure out some type of common ground. You can talk to people, because with NBA locker rooms, there's some hard players only meetings that need to be had where things need to be put on the table. There's confrontations that have to happen that are uncomfortable. You have to talk to guys, you have to work together, you're going to get upset with people, there's going to be fights, there's going to be this and that, all in the locker room. And those are things that if you can figure out how to navigate that and manage that, man, that's a life skill that you've had to drink from a fire hose and kind of learn on the fly, especially when you're just thrown in there as a rookie and you have no clue what's going on and all this stuff is coming at you. An NBA locker room, especially a volatile one, a non-winning NBA locker room where everything's kind of annoying to everybody now because you're just taking L's, like that is not an easy place to be in that flow state and find success, and while using teamwork and trying to figure out how to shine yourself and stick out and have your own success. It's not an easy place to figure all that out, but if you do, and if you're able to come through that and take away some skill from that, take away some life lessons from that, you definitely could use that in whatever it is you go into next.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a whole separate education. I never thought I had to go back to school after that, and then I did, but never thought I was going to do that.
Yeah, seriously, right? No, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that.
And you've mentioned faith and family quite a bit. How have those core values really inspired you to give back?
Well, I feel like one of the things my parents instilled in us growing up was we're blessed to be a blessing. You're always looking to give, looking to help people. What's your ministry? Where can you have an impact on others? How can you help others? And if you end up having some type of platform, how do you use that for good? And so that was always something I felt like I wanted to do throughout my playing career. After my playing career, was find a way to give back, figure out what my ministry was going to be. You always have that ministry itch that you want to scratch, and you learn that you get blessed from it when you're helping other people out, whatever way it is. When you're giving to others, you get blessed in return even more, just from seeing them thrive, seeing what you've done for them and how they're benefiting from it, seeing a smile on a kid's face after you've given them something, or a gift or whatever, a Christmas present when they haven't had a Christmas in years or whatever it is. And it's that old saying, it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. And you find that out when you're doing all you can to give back. So for me right now, it's the Athletes Corner, which is really scratched that ministry itch for me. My co-founder, Brennan Creer, and I launched basically in 2020 during the pandemic, when it was pretty much in the middle of it, and we were just trying to figure out what's a tangible way we can give back and help people. And food insecurity was super high and rising. It was really bad before the pandemic. The pandemic made it 100 times worse, or whatever it was. So we're like, let's feed people. Let's see if we can do meals. And we teamed up with Feeding America, which they've been incredible to work with. It's amazing how they subsidize all the different food they get from all these different grocery stores. And they've been feeding people for a long time. They have food banks all across the United States, all across the world. And so we teamed up with them, and we were able to acquire 1 million meals from our donors and people, our partners that we've worked with at the Athletes Corner. And we went to the Warriors with it. We'd already done campaigns with athletes and some NFL teams before the Warriors, but we went to the Warriors and we're like, hey, we have an idea. How about every time the Warriors score a point, we give away 100 meals. We have 1 million meals for them. For you guys, we'll let you guys be a part of this and give away meals as the players score points. And so every time the players are scoring, they're a part of something bigger than just 2 points going on the board. And we'll get to 1 million meals, and it's something that the fans can follow along with. It's tangible and it's performance based, so it's fun for everybody to kind of follow along. And they heard it and they loved it. They fell in love with the idea, and Swishes for Dishes campaign was born, where exactly what I said, every single time the Warriors score a point, 100 meals gets provided to Bay Area families that are in need. And Feeding America does a good job of vetting what families really need these meals, and it's been really cool. And we've been able to see every step of the process, from going to the food banks and seeing the food get prepared and bagged, to having a drive-through food bank event where the cars come through and we're able to put it in their trunks or in their back seats. And these aren't just meals, like small, these are like grocery bags full that they call meals. It's just meals is, I guess, the best term to say when it comes to campaigns and talking about it. But these meals feed families for weeks. And it's so cool to see, especially with the pandemic, because so many people lost their livelihoods. There's a lot of people that were thriving before the pandemic. The pandemic hits and they lose their restaurant or whatever it is. Their business closes down, just not able to handle or make it through. So there was a lot of people that were struggling. And to see people and to be at those events and be able to give meals to people and seeing their gratitude and having them tell us thank you and tell us their stories, like, it's really touching. It's really cool and fulfilling and amazing to be able to do that. So we've been doing that for, I guess next year will be our 6th year, and we're going to do, they've locked in 3 more years already. So we just want to keep doing that as long as possible. That's our biggest campaign, where we do 1 million meals every year, but there's other smaller ones where we've been able to provide meals to different communities. Some of our other athlete partners, Zach Ertz, Adrian Peterson, some of these other guys that we've done campaigns with, and we continue to do them with, because all of my contacts from playing the NBA and meeting NFL players and other athletes along the way. And then Brandon Career, he's been in sports for a long time and the tech space, so he's got a lot of contacts. So we just kind of use that. It's basically just us two and then one social media guy, and it's been really cool to see God just kind of take it and kind of show off with the Athletes Corner. So that's been an amazing thing, and just a blessing again to just help people and then come behind athletes, because that's one of our main things. Our thing is to help families that are struggling physically and spiritually through the avenue of sports, and help athletes give back and use their platform. So to be able to be an organization where other athletes can benefit from, in whatever cause that they're super passionate about, come behind them and amplify whatever it is they're trying to do. And especially with tangible things like meals or anything that you can say is about family. We've done stuff with giving school supplies to kids that need them. And so it's been cool. It's been really cool. And we're just going to keep going and keep giving back as much as possible, really.
That's incredible. Thank you for doing that. I know, like you said, using your platform is so important, and a lot of people focus on just getting to the top level of the game,
Right.
But then what's your responsibility when you get there, even while you're trying to get there?
Right. Yeah. I think that's one of the funnest parts about getting to any level, right? Or reaching the top of your profession or going professional or having any kind of platform, is being able to do something good with it. Like, are you just going to use it for yourself and spend all the money on yourself and give yourself the best life possible, which is not a bad thing, especially if you have a family and you want to just being able to take care of your family and to give back to loved ones and all that. That's all well and good. But when you're able to do more and help other people along the way and give back and see other people get blessed because you've been blessed, that's one of the best things that there is to experience, honestly.
I love that. I'm going to use that phrase now, by the way.
Yeah. Do it. It's all you.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Let's talk cornbread.
Yes. Yes.
Because I know we
too.
were talking before this, and in my mind it's just cornbread. It goes with your pulled pork, but there are flavors. So what's going on with the cornbread?
So the cornbread, this is fun for me to talk about because my wife, she's Filipino and she is just a genius in the kitchen, right? Anything she's ever made is like the best version of that thing. And I'm not saying that just because she's my wife and she'll probably listen to this, but it really is the case. Like just something as mundane as spaghetti and meatballs. She's found a way to make it extraordinary. And it's this Pinoy spaghetti and meatballs. Like the Filipinos will know what I'm talking about, but even her version is even different than that. Right? She adds her touch and her love to it, and it's just amazing. It's one of my favorite dishes. But so the same thing with the cornbread. She was always a cornbread connoisseur, and she would go to these places and get cornbread. Wherever cornbread was being sold, she'd go and get it, and she would eat it, and it would be dry and breakable, and she couldn't even hold it with one hand without it breaking apart. She'd have crumbs all over her. She's, I could do this so much better. What is this? Let me figure out something here. So she went into the kitchen and cooked something up and figured out this amazing recipe, and she just did it for herself because it was what she would like. It was her just trying to please her own taste buds, basically. And so when we were dating, she was like, do you like cornbread? I was like, yes, who doesn't? And she was like, well, I have some leftover cornbread in the fridge. You want some? I was like, yeah, let's do it. So she fed me the cornbread, and I was like, this is the best cornbread I've ever tasted. So fast forward, we're married. She gave it to me again. I was like, you really need to share this with the world. Like, I'm serious here. This is the best cornbread I've ever had. She thought I was just being nice to make her feel good. I was like, no, I am being nice, but no, this is the best. And I'm not even joking. So fast forward, we launched Kelenna's famous gourmet cornbread a few years ago. We have 5 locations now. We're probably going to be in Chase Center soon during the games. And the main thing is our texture. I talked about how dry everybody else's cornbread is usually. Ours is moist. That's what you would say. It's moist. It sticks. It's not like too breakable. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's authentic to cornbread. It is cornbread. And it's just different than anything you've ever tasted. And then the flavors, we have flavors. When have you tasted anything other than just plain or jalapeno cornbread?
Never.
Right? So we have blueberry white chocolate, which was the first thing I suggested when my wife was like, hey, I can make caramel cornbread. I was like, whoa, my wheels kind of got spinning. Can you do a blueberry white chocolate? I don't know why I thought of blueberry white chocolate,
Sounds
but
good.
that came out amazing. So that's one of our core flavors. Caramel, which I already just mentioned. Banana walnut is unbelievable. People are like, was it just like banana bread? No, I'm like, no, it's cornbread, but it's banana walnut, and it's unbelievable. That's blueberry white chocolate was my first love. This is my new favorite one. Then we have a fiesta, which is like, we don't want to just do like a jalapeno or something plain. You can get jalapeno somewhere else. Fiesta is like all 3 peppers, red, yellow, green. I know there's more peppers, but those are the 3 peppers we have. And it's supposed to be like a Mexican twist type of thing. So that one's really good too. Is that 5? Oh, and ube salted. That's like one of our best sellers. It's like a Filipino classic. So yeah, and there's 5 locations: Share Tea Hercules, Biz Drinks, the Syrup Shop in San Francisco, Club Fugazi, which is a Deer San Francisco. That's this amazing Cirque du Soleil like show performance thing that they have in there, and they sell our cornbread there. And then we should be at Chase Center soon during games. So we're keeping our fingers crossed on that. But it's been wonderful, and everybody that's tasted the cornbread loves it. So you'll have to taste some at some point.
Do you make it gluten-free? Not yet.
Soon.
I know.
Not yet.
But everyone in San Francisco should go check it out.
Yes, absolutely. And gluten-free will be coming soon. We're not there yet. We're still at the beginning stages. Again, the 5 locations, but we're going to blast this thing off.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I enjoy it, Kelly. Appreciate you.